Introduction. The Great Illusion, the Dream of Separation. You look at the night sky. You see the black immensity dotted with distant points of light. You feel small. You feel fragile. You feel that you are a biological accident trapped on a wet rock that revolves around an average star in the suburbs of an indifferent galaxy. You feel there is an I in here, your thoughts, your body, your story, and a universe out there separate from you, alien to you, and often hostile. That sense of cosmic loneliness is the basis of all human suffering. It is the origin of the fear of death, of greed, and of war. But I have news for you. But I have news that has been whispered in the temples of Egypt, in the caves of the Himalayas, and in the mystery schools of Greece for millennia. That separation is a lie. It is the most perfect, complex, and persistent hallucination ever designed. It is an optical magic trick. The truth, the only absolute truth that withstands final analysis, is much more strange and wonderful. Only one exists. There are not two things in this universe. There is no creator and creation. There is no observer and observed. There is only one infinite consciousness, an intelligent and living primordial energy, playing hide-and-seek with itself. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean, temporarily experiencing how it feels to be a drop. You are not a human being seeking a spiritual experience. You are the one spirit having a human experience. Why? Why would the one who is all perfect and eternal decide to fragment into billions of ignorant pieces? The answer is simple and terrifying: to know itself. The eye cannot see itself without a mirror. Light cannot know its brightness without darkness. The infinite, in its perfect solitude, desired experience. And to have experience, it needed contrast. It needed drama. It needed forgetting. So the one put on a mask. It put on your mask. It induced a voluntary amnesia to be able to play the game of life with real intensity. In order for you to feel fear, surprise, love, and pain, you had to forget that you are God. If you remembered your omnipotence all the time, the game would be boring. This book, The Law of One, is not a self-help manual for your character, your ego, to have more success in the game. This book is a wake-up call for the player. We are going to tear the veil of forgetting. We are going to explore the physics of light, the geometry of consciousness, and the architecture of dimensions. You are not going to learn anything new. You are going to remember what you were before you were born. You are going to remember why you chose to come to Earth at this moment of transition. The search is over. You have been looking for God outside, in the sky, in books, in temples. And all this time, the one who was searching was the same one you were looking for. Get ready. The dream of separation ends here. Welcome to reality. Welcome to the Law of One. Chapter 1. Intelligent Infinity, the Paradox of Origin. Before the beginning there was nothing, and that nothing was not empty. It was full. It was a silent fullness, an ocean of potentiality without shores, without bottom, and without surface. The ancients called it Ein Sof, the Tao, Brahman, the Great Mystery. We will call it Intelligent Infinity. In that state, the knower and the known were one. There was no time because there was no movement. There was no space because there was no objects. There was only pure consciousness, breathing in its own eternity. And then, a desire arose. The Akashic Chronicles. The one desired to know itself, but how can the eye see itself if it has no mirror? To see itself, the one had to become two. It had to create the illusion of other. And in that first act of sacred division, the universe was born. You are the result of that original desire. You are the mirror in which God looks every morning. Imagine you are floating in an absolute black space. You have no body. You have no name. You have no history. There are no stars, no galaxies, no atoms. There is no up or down. There is no yesterday or tomorrow. There is only a pure, awake, lucid, and eternal consciousness. That consciousness is you, but not the small you who worries about bills. It is the greater you, the original you. You are in absolute peace. You are omnipotent because nothing limits you. You are omniscient because you are everything that exists. But there is a problem in this static perfection. You are alone. And you are not just alone. You are blind to your own magnificence. You know you are infinite, but you cannot experience your infinity because there is nothing to compare yourself to. You cannot know what light is because darkness does not exist. You cannot know what love is because there is no one to love. You cannot know what joy is because the possibility of sadness does not exist. You are an abstract concept floating in the void. You are pure potentiality, but not manifest reality. It is like being the best painter in the world, having all the colors in your mind but having no canvas or brushes. Then, in the midst of that eternal silence, a thought arises, a primary impulse, a vibration that breaks the stillness of the great ocean. The thought is, I want to know myself. Not intellectually, you already know yourself, but experientially. I want to feel, touch, see, live. And to achieve that, intelligent infinity makes a radical decision. It decides to play a game with itself. It decides to fragment. It decides to explode. It decides to project a holographic hallucination of otherness. That moment is what scientists call the Big Bang. Mystics call it let there be light. But it was not an explosion of rocks and gas. It was an explosion of consciousness, and you, reader, are one of those sparks that shot out in that sacred instant. Today, we are going to explore the nature of that intelligent infinity and why you are, literally, the creator, disguised as a creature. By the nature of the all, the canvas and the painting, to understand the law of one, we must discard the childish idea of God as a man with a beard, sitting on a cloud, judging humans. That is an anthropomorphic projection, a caricature created by primitive minds to control the masses. The God of real metaphysics is not a person. It is a unified field. It is the background energy of the universe. It is the force of which the Jedi speak, the quantum field of Planck, the logos of Heraclitus. Intelligent infinity has three fundamental characteristics that you must understand to stop feeling separated. Omnipresence. There is no out there. There is no place where the one is not. The empty space between atoms is not empty. It is full of this intelligence. Therefore, you cannot be far from God. You are made of God. Separation is a topological impossibility. Omnipotence, free energy. The one is the source of all energy. Matter is simply energy of the one condensed and vibrating at low speed, E or mc2. Your body is frozen light. Your thought is liquid light. Omniscience, the network. Every particle in the universe is entangled with all others. If you modify an atom here, the entire universe readjusts instantly to accommodate that change. There are no secrets. Everything is connected in a cosmic neural network. When we say all is one, it is not a poetic metaphor for us to be kind. It is a literal description of the architecture of reality. Your hands, the chair where you sit, the air you breathe, and the star that explodes millions of light years away are ripples in the same sheet. They are the same material, taking different temporary forms. Just as ice, water, and steam are the same, H2O, in different vibratory states, you and the source are the same in different densities. 2. The paradox of the mirror. Why the pain? If we are the one and the one is perfect, why does pain exist? Why does ignorance exist? Why does evil exist? This is the question that has tormented humanity since the beginning. The answer lies in the paradox of the mirror. Imagine you are the only being in existence. You are absolute love. How can you know that you are love if there is only love? Love in the void is neutral. It is invisible. To experience love, you need to create something that is not love, or that seems not to be. You need to create fear. To experience light, you need to create darkness. To experience unity, you need to create separation. The One created duality as a learning tool. It designed a stage, the physical universe, where the laws of perfection seem not to apply, where things die, where things hurt, where there is gravity and resistance. Why? Because resistance is necessary for growth. A muscle does not grow without the resistance of the weight. A soul does not evolve without the resistance of incarnated life. You, as a fragment of the One, volunteered to enter this high-density simulator. You said, I am going to forget who I am. I am going to enter a fragile body. I am going to feel the cold, the hunger and the abandonment. And my mission will be to remember that I am love in the midst of conditions that deny love. That is the great game. Suffering is not a divine punishment. It is the friction necessary for the diamond to be polished. Evil is not a force opposed to God. There is nothing outside of God. It is a force within God that acts as a catalyst. It is the necessary villain in the play, so that the hero can discover his courage. Without the dragon, the knight is just a guy in a shiny metal suit that rusts. 30. The holographic principle. The ocean in the drop. Modern science is beginning to discover what mystics have always known. The universe is a hologram. What is a hologram? If you take a normal photograph and cut it in two, you have two halves of the image. If you take a holographic film and cut it into 1,000 pieces, each small piece contains the entire image. The part contains the whole. This is crucial for understanding the law of one. You are not a part of God in the sense that you are an arm or a leg separate from the body. You are a fractal of God. You contain the totality of the source code of intelligent infinity within your heart center. You have access to all the wisdom, all the power, and all the creativity of the universe, because the universe is folded within you. As Rumi said, you are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. This changes the rules of the game. It means you don't have to ask for things from an external God. It means you have to unlock things from within. Prayer is not a plea to a distant king. It is an internal command to activate a frequency you already possess. When Jesus said, "The kingdom of heaven is within you," he was stating the holographic principle. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to climb any ladder, you just have to go inward, toward the center of the atom, toward the silence between thoughts. There is the gateway to the totality. Phi, the Logos and creation, the mind of God. In the cosmology of the law of one, raw material, the process of creation is explained technically. Intelligent infinity, the state of rest, pure potential. Intelligent energy. Infinity focuses through intention, will. It becomes light, love. The Logos, the galactic creator, the great consciousness that designs a galaxy. Our Logos is the architect of the Milky Way. It designs physical laws, archetypes, and evolution plans. The Sub-Logos, the sun. Our star is not a ball of gas burning by chance. It is a conscious being. It is the designer of our solar system. The Sub-Logos, you. You are a co-creator. You design your own life, your body, and your experience. Do you see the hierarchy? It is not a hierarchy of boss and employee, but of Russian dolls, matryoshkas. The Logos is within the sun, and the sun is within you. All of creation is a mental act. The universe is mental, first Hermetic principle. Everything you see, planets, trees, buildings, are thoughts of the Logos that have been densified and slowed down until they appear solid. If you could see reality as it is, you would not see hard objects. You would see geometric patterns of light, flowing and changing constantly. You would see the matrix of green code, but instead of numbers you would see sacred geometry. You, being a fractal of the Creator, have the same power. Your thoughts also create. Perhaps you don't create stars, yet, but you create your immediate reality. You create your health, your relationships, and your abundance through the sustained focus of your attention. You are a Logos in training. Earth is the school where baby gods learn to handle the power of thought without destroying the neighborhood. That is why matter is dense and slow here, to give us a safety cushion. If what you thought manifested instantly, as in the astral plane, your fears would have already killed you. The time delay, time, is a mercy that allows you to correct your thoughts before they become things. The illusion of multiplicity, the prism. If everything is one, why do I see others? Why do I see millions of different people, animals, and objects? Imagine a pure white light passing through a glass prism. Upon leaving the prism, the white light breaks down into 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. The color red seems very different from the color violet. They have different frequencies. They seem separated, but both are in essence the same refracted white light. The universe is the prism. The one enters the prism of manifestation and refracts into the 10,000 things. You are one ray of color. I am another. Your dog is another. At the surface level, third dimension, we are different. I end where my skin begins, and you begin where yours ends. But if we follow the ray back toward the source, we all converge in the same beam of white light. In higher dimensions, 6th, 7th density, individualities merge. Social memory complexes are formed. Souls join again, sharing all their experience until they finally merge again with intelligent infinity at the end of the cosmic cycle. Spiritual evolution is the journey back through the prism. It is moving from the vision of I am red and I hate blue to the vision of we are both light. Separation is functional but not fundamental. It is functional because it allows interaction, but it is illusory because ultimately there are no real boundaries. For we say the great game of hide and seek, Lila. Alan Watts, the great philosopher, described reality as a divine game of hide and seek. God plays at hiding from himself. He hides in you. He hides in me. He hides in the stone. And the goal of the game is to discover himself. When you have a moment of satori, of enlightenment or deep love, it is God shouting, "I found myself." It is a moment of recognition. If you understand this, life stops being a terrible test where a sadistic God judges you. It becomes a dance, Lila in Sanskrit. It is a sacred game. There are no victims. There are no executioners. There are only actors with masks. The one who hurts you in this life is another aspect of yourself, another actor, who has agreed to play the villain role so that you can experience forgiveness or strength. At the soul level, before incarnating, you shook hands and said, "We are going to play an intense game. I will betray you and you will have to learn to love yourself despite the betrayal. Deal?" And you went down to the stage, and the veil of forgetting fell, and you took the drama seriously. The Law of One invites you to look behind the villain's mask, to see the eyes of the Creator looking at you from the face of your enemy. When you can do that, karma dissolves. The game is transcended. You no longer need to repeat the lesson because you have understood the cosmic joke. Vijf, the Creator's responsibility. You are the center. There is a fascinating scientific fact. No matter where you are in the universe, it always seems that you are the center and that all galaxies are moving away from you. If you move to Mars, Mars seems like the center. The universe has no physical center. Every point is the center. Metaphysically, this is a revelation. You are the center of your observable universe. You are the axis. The world you see out there is a projection of your internal state. As within, so without. As above, so below. This carries a radical responsibility. If all is one, and you are the projector of your reality, you have no one to blame. You cannot blame society, nor your parents, nor luck. They are reflections of your own vibration. If you see a hostile world, it is because there is hostility in your heart. If you see a loving world, it is because there is love in your heart. Intelligent infinity is a neutral mirror. It says yes to everything. If you say, "The world is a dangerous place," intelligent infinity says, "Yes, it is," and shows you dangers to confirm your creator belief. If you say the world is a place of opportunities, intelligent infinity says yes it is, and opens doors for you. Assuming the law of one is assuming total sovereignty. It means stopping being a creature that reacts and starting to be a creator that acts. It means understanding that when you heal yourself, you heal the world. Literally, because the world is nothing more than the extension of your own auric field. When you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency of the human collective, because you are not separated from it. Vait, the eternity of now, time does not exist. Finally, we must touch upon the concept of time from the perspective of the One. For intelligent infinity, there is no linear time. Everything occurs in an eternal now. The Big Bang, the formation of the earth, your birth, your death, and the end of the universe. Everything is occurring. It is occurring simultaneously in different layers of the cosmic hard drive. We, the consciousnesses in third dimension, experience time linearly because our consciousness is narrow. We read the book word by word, but the One sees the entire book open on the table. This means that you never die. Death is just turning the page, or changing the channel. The energy that you are cannot be destroyed, only transformed. You have lived 1,000 lives, and will live 1,000 more. Or perhaps all those lives are occurring right now in parallel universes. Fear of death is the last great illusion of separation. The ego fears disappearing. The spirit knows it is impossible to disappear. How can something that is all disappear? Where would it go? There is no outside of infinity. Chapter 2, the first distortion, free will. The Creator does not play dice, but he builds the casino. Inside the casino, the rules are set so that each player can bet everything they have, even their own soul. The Creator does not intervene in the game, not because he doesn't care, but because intervening would break the only sacred rule that makes the game real. Absolute freedom. Freedom to choose the era. The Akashic Chronicles. The first distortion of intelligent infinity is free will. It is the decision of the One to stop being static, to become dynamic. It is the decision to allow its parts to move in directions that even he hasn't predicted. Without this, the universe would be a perfect clock but dead. With it, it is a chaos, but it is alive. The raw material. You have accepted the premise of Chapter 1, all is one. But looking out the window, you see a fractured world. You see wars. You see hunger. You see cruelty. You see people choosing to destroy themselves with drugs or with hatred. And the inevitable question arises, the one that has shaken the faith of millions. If everything is God, and God is perfect, why does he allow this? Why doesn't he come down and stop the hand of the murderer? Why doesn't he heal the sick child? Conventional religion tells you they are mysterious ways, or it's the devil's fault. The law of one gives you the technical answer. It is the fault of the first distortion. Intelligent infinity, in its desire to know itself, established a fundamental rule before creating the first galaxy. That rule is the law of free will, also known as the law of confusion. This law establishes that each fragment of consciousness, you, has the inalienable, sacred, and irrevocable right to choose. You have the right to choose the light, and you have the right to choose the darkness. You have the right to choose love, and you have the right to choose fear. You have the right to remember who you are, and you have the right to forget it completely and play at being a worm. The Creator loves his own creation so much that he grants it the freedom to deny him. If the Creator intervened to stop a war, he would be violating the free will of those who chose the war. He would turn his children into robots programmed to be good. A robot cannot love, because forced love is not love, it is programming. For your love for God, or the universe, to be real, the real possibility must exist that you hate him or ignore him. The possibility of evil is the price we pay for the authenticity of good. Today we are going to explore this first distortion. We are going to understand why freedom is the most dangerous gift, and at the same time, the only one worth having. What is a distortion? The lens. In the language of the law of one, the word distortion does not have a negative connotation, like something twisted or bad. It means movement moving away from the static center. Imagine intelligent infinity as a point of white light, still, perfect, and silent. That is unity without distortion. But if that light wants to do something, it has to move. It has to vibrate. Any movement, any vibration, any thought is technically a distortion of that original stillness. Free will is the first distortion. It is the first movement of the Creator. It is like putting a lens in front of the white light. The lens distorts the light to focus it in a specific direction. Thanks to this first distortion, the universe stopped being a homogeneous soup and became a playground of infinite possibilities. Thanks to it, solar systems, planets, and people exist. Without free will, only the one asleep in its eternity would exist. You are a distortion of the one. Your body is a distortion. Your mind is a distortion. And that is wonderful, because thanks to the fact that you are distorted, separated, and individualized, you can have a unique experience that no one else in the cosmos can have. There's the law of confusion, the veil. For free will to function at its maximum power, a special mechanism is needed: forgetting. Imagine you are playing a game of poker, but you can see everyone's cards and you know exactly what is going to happen. Would you have freedom of choice? No. You would only act according to certainty. There would be no emotion or risk. For the choice to have weight, there must be uncertainty. Therefore, in the third density, our current level of reality, the veil of forgetting exists. Before incarnating, you, as a soul, knew everything. You knew you were eternal. You knew your past lives. You knew your mission. But upon entering the physical body, you crossed the river Lethe. You forgot. The law of confusion was applied. Now you don't know if God exists. You don't know what happens at death. You don't know if your decisions are correct. You have to operate by faith and by intuition. You have to choose to be a good person without knowing for sure if you will be rewarded. That is the test. If you knew that God was watching you with a camera and that he was going to pay you $1 million for being good, everyone would be good out of interest. Mercenaries. But when you are good in a world that seems indifferent and cruel, when you choose love even though it costs you pain, then your choice is pure. The veil guarantees that your free will is genuine. You are blind so that you can learn to see with the heart. Threat, the neutrality of the Son, the Creator, does not judge. Jesus said a phrase that contains the essence of the first distortion. God makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. Matthew 5:45. Think about it. The sun, the Logos, does not say, "That farmer is a murderer, I will not give light to his crops." The sun shines. Period. It shines with the same intensity on the field of the saint as on the field of the tyrant. It offers its vital energy to all without discrimination. Why? Because the sun knows that everything is the Creator. The murderer is the Creator experiencing the distortion of separation and fear. The saint is the Creator experiencing the distortion of union and love. Both are valid in the eyes of the infinite. The universe does not judge. Judgment is a human invention, a second-hand distortion. The universe only observes and reflects. If you use your free will to destroy, the universe will give you tools to destroy. If you use it to build, it will give you tools to build. It is like electricity. Electricity has no morals. You can use it to light up a hospital or to electrocute a prisoner in an electric chair. Electricity simply flows. You are the one who chooses the application. The Creator respects you so much that He allows you to use His divine power even to deny your own divinity. IV. The architecture of choice, cause and effect. Free will does not mean that you can do whatever you want without consequences. It means that you can choose the cause, but you cannot choose the effect once the cause is launched. Here enters karma, or law of inertia. If you choose to jump off a building, free will, the law of gravity comes into action, determinism. You are going to crash. You cannot choose to jump and choose to float at the same time, unless you are an ascended master who has transcended physical law. In the spiritual plane, it works the same way. If you choose hatred, you set in motion an energetic machinery. That machinery will generate isolation, illness, and conflict in your reality. It is not a punishment from God. It is the physics of your choice. You are free to put your hand in the fire, but you are not free to keep it from burning you. Learning on earth is based on the feedback system. You make a choice. 2. You experience the result. 3. You learn or not. If there were no pain after the error, there would be no learning. If you could put your hand in the fire and not get burned, you would never understand the nature of fire. Karma is the teacher who tells you your choice was not aligned with the one. V. The necessity of darkness, the contrast. This is the most difficult point for the human ego to digest. Darkness, evil, is necessary for free will to make sense. Imagine a world where only it was possible to do good, where you couldn't lie, or hurt, or steal. It would be a world of angelic automata. There would be no merit in goodness. For you to become a conscious creator, you must have the option to choose the path of separation. You must have the option to say no to unity. Those beings who choose the path of darkness, service to self, play a vital role in the cosmos. They are the catalysts. They are the weight you lift in the gym. The weight opposes your movement. The weight wants to bring you down. But thanks to that opposition, your muscle grows. The tyrant, the narcissist, the oppressive system are spiritual weights. They are using their free will to create resistance, and you must use yours to overcome that resistance. You overcome it not by hating them, because that is joining their vibration, but by shining brighter. Without the darkness of the night, you would never see the stars. The first distortion allows darkness to exist as a valid option of evolution, even if it is a slow and painful path. In the sovereignty of the soul, the end of victimhood, if you accept the first distortion, you must accept its inevitable corollary. Victims do not exist. This phrase is explosive. It causes immediate rejection. How can you say that? And the child born in war, and the abused woman? From the 3D human perspective, they are victims, and they deserve compassion and justice. But from the soul's perspective, outside of time, they are volunteers. Before incarnating using your total free will, you chose your circumstances. You chose your parents. You chose your body. You chose your main challenges. You designed your own video game. If you chose to be born in a war zone, it was not a system error. It was a decision of your soul to learn accelerated lessons about courage, loss, detachment, or compassion. Perhaps in another life you were a cruel warrior, and you chose this experience to balance karma and understand suffering from the other side. The moment you accept that you chose this at a higher level, You stop being a victim. You recover your power. You stop saying, "Poor me, look at what the world has done to me." You start saying, "Fine, my soul chose this difficult scenario. It must be because I am an advanced player." The acceptance of radical responsibility is the key to freedom. As long as you blame others, God, the government, luck, you are giving up your free will. You are saying that they have the power over you. The law of one gives you back the scepter. No one does anything to you. You do everything through others. 7. The paradox of fate, the river and the swimmer. Does this mean that everything is written? No. Does this mean that everything is chance? No. It is a subtle mixture. Fate is the cards you are dealt at the start of the game, your genetics, your family, your era. Those cards were chosen by your soul pre-incarnation. Free will is how you play those cards in each hand. You can have an excellent hand and lose by playing badly. Fear, laziness. You can have a terrible hand and win by playing masterfully. Intelligence, love, resilience. Imagine a river that flows toward the sea. The river is fate. The current takes you inevitably toward the ocean, reunion with the One. That is guaranteed. We will all return to the source, but you are the swimmer. You have free will to 1. Swim with the current, flow, accept. 2. Swim against the current, resistance, complaint. 3. Step out onto the shore for a while. The goal is fixed, the One. The path and the speed are your choice. Fate, the danger of indifference, tepidness. The saddest use of free will is not choosing evil. It is choosing nothing. It is tepidness. The sinkhole of indifference. They are those souls who pass through life like zombies. They don't love, but they don't hate either. They don't build, but they don't destroy either. They only consume, sleep, and die. They are the tepid ones that Revelation says will be spit out of the mouth of God. Why? Because they don't generate movement. Without polarization, there is no harvest. There is no evolution. The universe prefers a decided villain, because at least he is learning, than an inert mass. Free will is a muscle. If you don't use it to make firm decisions, it atrophies. You become a background character, NPC, in the movie of others. To activate the law of one, you must decide. You must choose who you are. You must choose whom you serve. Indecision is the only mortal sin in a universe of action. It's unconscious co-creation magic. When you realize that the first distortion is real, you understand magic. Magic is not pulling rabbits out of hats. It is the art of using free will to direct energy. Most people use their will by default, reacting. The magician uses his will by design, creating. If the Creator gave you absolute freedom, it means that your word is law in your personal universe. If you say, "I am free," the universe reorganizes to give you freedom. If you say, "I am a slave," the universe reorganizes to give you chains. Free will is the magic wand. The problem is that you wave it wildly with contradictory thoughts. I want money, will 1, but money is bad, will 2. The two wills cancel each other out. Result, 0. Mastery consists of unifying your free will, aligning your mind, subconscious, and soul in a single arrow of intention. When you achieve that alignment, the distortion becomes a laser beam. You become a conscious co-creator. Chapter 3. The second distortion. Love light. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. But before light there was a saying, there was an intention, there was a word. That word was love. Light is not the cause, it is the effect. Love is the spiritual gravity that compresses the infinite until it explodes into photons. Everything you see, touch, and breathe is light coagulated by love. There is nothing else. Matter is a dense illusion. Energy is the only reality. The Akashic Chronicles. The universe is not made of atoms. It is made of stories told with light. The second distortion is the creative principle itself. It is the Logos. It is the Creator's decision to manifest. If free will is the freedom to play, love light is the toy. It is the cosmic clay with which your soul sculpts mountains, galaxies, and human bodies. The raw material. Look at your hand, move it, touch the table, feel your clothes. Your senses tell you that you live in a world of solid, hard, and separate objects. They tell you that matter is real and that spirit is something ethereal, ghostly, or imaginary. Your senses lie to you. Modern quantum physics and ancient mysticism agree on an amazing truth. Matter does not exist. What you call solid is actually 99.9999% empty space, and that tiny 0.001% that remains is not hard matter. It is energy vibrating at a dizzying speed. If you could see your hand with the eyes of the Creator, you would not see skin or bone. You would see a swarm of flashing lights flickering in and out of existence. You would see a dance of photons. You would see love light. In the previous chapter, we explored the first distortion, free will, the possibility of choosing. But what do you choose? With what materials do you build your choice? Here enters the second distortion. The intelligent infinity, using its free will, decided to create something tangible. That act of creation is divided into two simultaneous movements. One, love, the focus, the active, creative, and masculine force, Logos. Two, light, the matter, the receptive, constructive, and feminine energy, Photon. Today we are going to dive into the very structure of reality. We are going to understand why love is not just a romantic emotion, but the gravitational force that holds your atoms together. And we are going to understand why light is the ink with which you write your destiny. I love spiritual gravity, the Logos. Forget about Valentine's Day. When the law of one speaks of love, it does not speak of human feelings of affection, attachment, or romance. It speaks of a cosmological force. Love is the creative principle. It is focused, pure intention. Imagine intelligent infinity as an ocean of static and formless water. Love is the force that decides, I am going to take this water, and I am going to make a giant wave here. Love is the biblical word. It is the action of focusing infinite potential at a specific point. The ancient Greeks called this principle the Logos. The Logos is the mind of God in action. It is the great architect. Our sun, for example, is a sub-Logos. It is a conscious entity that used the force of love to design the solar system, create the planets, and establish the physical laws that govern us. Love is the force that says, let it be done. It is the energy of cohesion. What keeps electrons spinning around the nucleus of the atom without flying off? Science calls it the strong nuclear force, or electromagnetism. Metaphysics calls it love. It is the will of the Creator holding the parts together to form a whole. Without this constant pressure, the universe would dissolve into chaos. You exist because the universe loves you enough to hold your atoms together against entropy. Tears light, the universe's brick, the photon. If love is the architect, light is the brick. When intelligent infinity is compressed and focused by love, it transforms into intelligent energy. This energy manifests as light. Everything that exists is light in different states of condensation. A thought is very fast and subtle light. An emotion is a bit denser light. Electricity is channeled light. A rock is frozen light, vibrating very slowly. The most famous equation in history, EMC2, Einstein, is the mathematical proof of the second distortion. Energy, E equals matter, M, multiplied by the speed of light squared, C2. This means that matter and energy are interchangeable. Matter is just trapped light. If you release the light from an atom, nuclear fission, you get a gigantic explosion. That explosion is love, light returning to its free state. This has devastating spiritual implications. It means that your body is a disguised light body. It means that the physical world is not bad or dirty. It is condensed, divine light. It is sacred. To walk upon the earth is to walk upon the light of God. To eat an apple is to eat solar light processed by a tree. When you understand this, you stop despising matter and begin to revere it as the densest and most heroic form of spirit. Third, the dance of polarity, love-light versus light-love. In advanced teachings like the raw material, a subtle technical distinction is made between love-light and light-love. It is not a play on words, it is a description of flow. 1. Love-light, the healer. It is when love, intention, directs light, action. It is the energy of the healer. Love is the cause, light is the effect. It is the power to change reality. I, love, command that this situation be illuminated. Light. This is the energy you use when you manifest, heal, or create art. 2. Light, love, the sage. It is when light, wisdom, information informs love, being. It is the energy of the student, the observer, the Buddha. Light, the truth of what is, enters you and generates love, acceptance. It is the state of passive enlightenment. I see the light of truth, and that fills me with love. The perfect balance is love, light, and love. You must be able to act and to receive. Many spiritual seekers stay only in love, devotion, but lack light or wisdom. They become sentimental fanatics. Others stay only in light, study a lot, but lack love, human warmth. They become cold-hearted. The law of one requires the integration of both, hot heart and cold head. First, the illusion of solidity, the fan. Why, if we are light, do we crash into walls? Why does it hurt if I'm hit? Because of the vibration speed. Imagine a ceiling fan. When it is off, you see the separate blades. There is a lot of empty space between them. You can put your hand through, but at maximum speed, the blades disappear. You see a solid, blurry disc. If you try to put your hand in, the fan hits you. It seems like a solid object, but it is not solid. It is movement. Solidity is an illusion created by speed. Your atoms are fans spinning at the speed of light. They create a force field that repels other fields. When you touch the table, Your atoms do not touch the atoms of the table. The electromagnetic fields of your electrons repel those of the table. You feel resistance, and your brain interprets that as touch or hardness, but you have never touched anything in your life. You have only interacted with light force fields. This is crucial for the aspiring magician. If you believe the cancer in your body is solid and real, it is hard to heal. If you understand it is a distorted light pattern vibrating at a specific frequency, then you can change it. You can introduce a new frequency, love light, that dissolves the previous pattern. The miracles of Jesus or yogis do not violate physical laws. They use laws of a higher physics, the physics of light, to modify lower physics. They reorganize photons with the mind. V. Intelligent energy, the living matrix. The universe is not a dead machine. The light that forms atoms is not dumb light like that of a bulb. It is intelligent light. It carries information. It has consciousness. Each photon knows what it is and what it does. The space surrounding you is a living neural network. The zero-point field, or the ether, is the mind of God pervading everything. This means that the universe hears you, not with ears but by resonance. Your thoughts are electrical impulses, light, traveling through this network. If you emit a thought of fear, you are sending a code. You are sending a programming code to the intelligent light of your body. The cells receive the order. The boss says to get sick, lower the vibration. And they obey. If you emit a thought of gratitude, the light begins to reorganize coincidences to bring you abundance. You are not shouting into the void. You are programming the matrix. The second distortion teaches us that we are programmers. The programming language is emotion, love, fear, and the code is imagination, light, image. Vi, the vibration scale, colors of the soul. The white light of the one refracts into 7 main densities or colors, the chakras or rays. This determines your level of evolution. 1. Red, survival light. 2. Orange, emotional sexual light. 3. Yellow, social mental light. 4. Green, universal love light. 5. Blue, wisdom light. Indigo, intuition and magic light. 7. Violet, divinity light. You are a rainbow. But most people have certain colors blocked. If you fear poverty, your red light is dirty or weak. If you cannot express your truth, your blue light is off. The goal is to be transparent. Clean the prism, your body-mind, so the light of the infinite can pass through you without being distorted. A master is someone whose prism is so clean that they radiate pure white light. When you are near someone like that, you feel healed because their light reorders yours. 7. Healing as light engineering. What is disease from the perspective of the law of one? It is a blockage in the flow of love light. Imagine a light hose. If you step on it, with trauma, resentment, or chronic fear, light stops flowing to a part of the body. That part darkens. Darkness is the absence of information. The cells forget how to function. They become chaotic, cancer, or die, necrosis. Healing is not fighting the disease. Healing is restoring the flow of light. It is lifting your foot off the hose. When you forgive, an act of love, you release the constriction. The light enters again. And since light is intelligent, it knows exactly how to repair the tissue. You don't need to know cellular medicine. Your internal light already knows. You only need to let it pass. Energy therapies, Reiki, Pranic, Qigong, are based on this principle. Injecting love light. Injecting love light into the dark areas of the auric field, so the physical body, the hologram, corrects itself. The physical body is the map. The light body is the territory. Change the territory, and the map will change. Vasil, the heart's transformer, green ray. The operations center of the second distortion is the heart chakra, green ray. Why the heart? Because it is the midpoint. It is the balance. The three bottom centers, red, orange, yellow, are of the earth, ego. The three top centers, blue, indigo, violet, are of the heaven. The heart is the bridge. It is where love, earth emotion and light, heaven wisdom meet. To access the magic of the law of one, you have to open the heart. This is not a cliché metaphor, it is a technical instruction. The green ray is the gateway to infinite intelligence. If you live only in the brain, yellow ray, you can be very smart, but you have no real manifestation power because you lack the fuel of love. Only when you raise energy to the heart do you activate the electromagnetic field, the torus, that connects to the matrix. The heart is the motor of reality. The love light enters through your crown and feet, meets in the heart, and from there is projected outward, creating your world. If your heart is closed due to pain, the projector is off. You live in a grey world. Tyson, the responsibility of the co-creator. Understanding the second distortion takes away your right to be a victim, but gives you the duty to be an architect. If everything is light, and you direct light with your love, attention, intention, then you are responsible for what you are illuminating. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on war, fear, lack? Then you are using the Creator's power to create hell. Are you focusing on beauty, solution, gratitude? Then you are using the Creator's power to create heaven. Light is neutral. It illuminates what you look at. If you look at a monster, it comes alive. If you look at God in your brother, God comes alive in your brother. This is the secret of alchemy. Where you put your attention, you put the light. Where you put the light, you put life. Stop feeding with your light the things you hate. Stop watching news that terrifies you. Withdraw your light. Those things without your light wither and disappear from your reality. They change timelines. Use your love light to build the structures of the new earth. Chapter 4. The Veil of Forgetting, the Matrix Design. You are not here to learn. You are here to remember. But to remember something, you first have to have forgotten it. The Creator designed a membrane of amnesia around your consciousness, not to punish you, but to protect the integrity of your experience. If you knew the answers to the exam before entering the classroom, the exam would have no value. The veil of forgetting turns certainty into mystery, and knowledge into faith. It is the tool that transforms a bored god into a passionate adventurer. The Akashic Chronicles. Imagine an actor so accomplished that, upon stepping on stage, he forgets he is an actor. He believes he is the character. He cries real tears when the script says to suffer. He feels real fear when the villain appears. Only when the curtain falls, he remembers who he is and laughs at the intensity of the play. You are that actor. Earth is the stage, and the veil of forgetting is the hypnosis that makes the play seem like the only reality. Law of One. You have intellectually accepted that you are the One. You have understood that you have free will. You have comprehended that you are made of love, light, and yet you look at your bank account and feel fear. You look in the mirror and see wrinkles. You look at the news and feel hopelessness. If you are an infinite being, why do you feel so finite? If you have all the power, why do you feel so powerless? If you are love, why do you feel so alone? The answer is a piece of advanced spiritual technology called the veil of forgetting. It is the energetic barrier that separates your conscious mind from your higher self. It is the reason why you do not remember your past lives. It is the reason why you do not hear the voice of your guides clearly. It is the reason why death terrifies you. This veil is not a mistake. It is not a fall from grace caused by eating an apple. It is an intentional structure designed by the Logos, the creator of the galaxy. It was designed to enhance evolution. Without the veil, evolution would be very slow. With the veil, it is exponentially fast and intense. Earth is a heavy veil school. It is one of the most difficult universities in the cosmos because here darkness seems very real and light seems very distant. Today we will study the blueprints of this virtual prison. We will understand why you locked yourself in here and where you hid the key. Try the God mode problem, why we need the veil. Imagine playing a video game. You have God mode activated. You are invincible, you have infinite ammo, you walk through walls. You know where the enemies are. You know how the story ends. At first it's fun. You feel powerful. But after 15 minutes, you get bored. There is no challenge, no risk. No. If you cannot die, survival has no thrill. If you cannot lose, winning has no merit. If you know the princess will be rescued regardless, the hero's journey is a bureaucratic formality. Intelligent Infinity had this problem before the creation of the veil. Souls evolved, but they did so without passion. They knew they were one. They knew the other was themselves. Therefore, if someone insulted you, you didn't get angry because you knew it was you insulting yourself. There was automatic love, but it was lukewarm. It was logical love, not conquered love. The Creator wanted intensity. He wanted to know what would happen if his parts truly believed they were separate. Would they choose love even in total darkness? Would they have faith even if there were no proof? Would they forgive even if the wound seemed real? To find out, the veil was installed. The direct connection with the source was severed. Suddenly the game became hard. It became terrifying. It became real. Now when you love, it is a miracle, because you have had to overcome fear and separation to achieve it. Now love has a flavor and a power that did not exist in the realms of absolute unity. The veil is the secret ingredient that gives flavor to the soup. Clear the anatomy of the veil, conscious versus unconscious mind. The veil of forgetting is a semi-permeable barrier within your own psyche. It divides your mind into two unequal territories. One, the conscious mind, the island. It is small. It is rational. It is linear. It only processes what enters through the 5 physical senses. It lives in time. It is the ego, the unconscious mind, the ocean. It is immense. It is timeless. It contains the memory of all your lives, the connection with the Akasha, telepathy, and the wisdom of the One. It is the soul. The veil is located between the island and the ocean. It prevents the ocean from flooding the island. If you had no veil, you would remember everything all the time. It would be impossible to function on Earth. Imagine trying to drive to work while simultaneously remembering how you died in the guillotine in France in 1793, how you were a jellyfish on Jupiter, and how you are a being of light in the seventh dimension. You would go crazy. Your biological brain would collapse. The veil acts as a reducing valve, Aldous Huxley's concept. It reduces the infinite stream of consciousness to a thin, manageable thread so you can focus on being John the accountant in the 21st century. It allows you to focus. Ignorance is the price of focus. Thrust, the fundamental choice polarization. The main purpose of the veil in the third density, where we are, is to facilitate the choice. The spiritual universe is not neutral. It is polarized. To graduate from Earth and move to the next stage, fourth density, you must make a firm decision about your ethical orientation. There are only two viable paths. Service to others, positive. The path of unity, love, acceptance, and radiation, seeking the Creator in others. 2. Service to self, negative. The path of separation, control, power, and absorption, seeking the Creator only in oneself and using others. Without the veil, you could not choose the negative path. If you knew with absolute certainty that we are all one, no one would be so stupid as to harm another, because they would know they are stabbing themselves. The negative path would be impossible. It would be like trying to steal your own wallet. The veil creates the illusion that I am I and you are you. This illusion makes selfishness, cruelty, and manipulation possible, and by making darkness possible, it makes the choice of the light meaningful. The Creator wants you to choose. He doesn't want you to be good by default. He wants you to be good by conscious choice in the face of the temptation not to be. The veil ensures that IV, the mechanism of faith, believing without seeing. In worlds without the veil, faith does not exist. Knowledge exists. You do not have faith that you have hands. You know you have hands because you see them. On earth, God hides. There is no irrefutable scientific evidence of the soul. There are no proofs of reincarnation on the news. Everything is ambiguous. This is designed this way on purpose. If God appeared in the sky tomorrow with thunder and lightning, everyone would believe, but they would believe out of fear or obviousness. Faith is something else. Faith is the ability to intuit internal truth, despite the fact that external evidence denies it. It is seeing chaos and trusting in order. It is seeing death and trusting in life. This muscle of faith can only be developed in a veiled environment, and it is a very valuable muscle in the cosmos. Beings graduating from Earth with strong faith are considered powerful masters. They have learned to hold their own light in absolute darkness, without needing an external source. They have become autonomous generators of light. The holes in the veil, intuition and dreams. The veil is not an impenetrable concrete wall. It is more like a smoke screen or a mesh. It has holes, it has glitches. Information from the unconscious, the ocean, leaks toward the island constantly. How? 1. Dreams. When you sleep, the ego turns off and the veil thins. You travel to the astral plane. You receive messages. You meet with guides. Upon waking, the veil falls again and you forget 90%, but you are left with the feeling or the symbol. 2. Intuition. Those sudden hunches. Don't go that way. Call this person. It is your higher self shouting through the veil. Synchronicity. When the external world aligns mathematically with your internal world, repeating numbers, impossible coincidences, it is the system winking at you. reminding you that reality is a flexible hologram. 4. Deep meditation. These are technologies to temporarily lift the veil. You can see the gears. The goal of the initiate is not to destroy the veil, that is death, but to make it transparent. To reach a point where, even though you are in the physical body, you know it is a game. You live in the world, but you are not of the world. This is the goal of the law of one, living with lucidity within the hallucination. 5. Suffering as an alarm clock. If the veil is so dense that we forget our mission, how do we ensure we don't get lost forever in the triviality of eating, sleeping, and watching television? The soul installs a safety mechanism. Suffering. Suffering is the cosmic alarm clock. When you deviate too far from your soul plan, the soul sends you pain. A crisis, a disease, a loss, an existential depression, the dark night of the soul. Pain has a function to break the ego's shell. When you suffer, you look for answers. When everything goes well, you don't ask, "Who am I?" You just enjoy. But when everything collapses, you ask, and the question is the drill. The question is the drill that pierces the veil. Almost all great spiritual awakenings are preceded by a great trauma. Trauma cracks the rigid structure of the conscious mind and allows the light of the unconscious to enter. As Leonard Cohen said, "There is a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in." Be grateful for your crises. They are your higher self's attempt to contact you through the veil. 7. Cosmic loneliness, the isolation experiment. One of the hardest consequences of the veil is the sense of isolation. In higher densities, minds are connected, telepathy. There are no secrets, no loneliness. You feel the presence of your brothers constantly. Here, we are locked in skulls of bone. No one can hear your thoughts. No one can feel your pain exactly like you. This loneliness is artificial, but it feels very real. The purpose is to develop individual identity. For the one to know itself, it must first feel non-one. It must feel I. This extreme individuation is necessary to then voluntarily seek reunion. The longing you feel for something more, that inexplicable nostalgia for a home you don't remember, is the compass that guides you back. If you didn't feel alone, you wouldn't seek God. You would settle for mediocrity. Loneliness is the void that asks to be filled by the Spirit. First, the thinning of the veil, the current era. We live in strange times. The Mayan prophecy, the apocalypse, the shift to the age of Aquarius, they all speak of the same thing, the end of the cycle. Planet Earth is moving from third density to fourth density. This means that the base vibration of the planet is rising. And when the vibration rises, the veil becomes thinner. That is why there is so much madness right now. People are beginning to see things. The lies of governments come to light. Apocalypse means revelation, lifting the veil. Institutions fall. People have spontaneous awakenings. The veil is tearing. For the one who is prepared, the one who has sought truth, this is wonderful. They begin to remember their powers. For the one who is not prepared, the one who clings to the material illusion, this is terrifying. They feel reality dissolving. They feel psychosis. Your job is to stay calm while the stage is dismantled. Understand that what falls is the false curtain to reveal the true masterpiece behind it. Say, navigating the veiled matrix. Knowing that you have a veil, how should you live? You must live as a double agent. You have a cover identity, your name, your job, your ego. Use it. Pay your taxes. Be kind to neighbors. Respect traffic laws. Play the 3D game impeccably, but never forget your real identity, the one. Maintain a secret channel open with your base, your spirit. Use the as-if technique. Even though you don't see your guides, act as if they were there. Even though you don't see the purpose of your pain, act as if it had a perfect sense. Even though you feel separate, treat others as if they were yourself. By acting as if, you tune into the frequency of the truth, and eventually the truth responds. Faith is not waiting to see to believe. It is believing to be able to see. You are the projector. The veil is the screen. Chapter 5. Others do not exist. The universal mirror. If you hate a person, you hate something in them that is part of yourself. What is not part of ourselves does not disturb us. The world is a giant mirror that reflects your own consciousness. You cannot see outside what you do not have inside. If you see thieves, it is because you fear losing, attachment. If you see tyrants, it is because you fear your own impotence, victimhood. There is no one out there. There is only you, projected onto a billion faces, playing hide-and-seek with yourself. Hermann Hesse, Adaptation. In Lakech, I'm another you. Hala Ken, you are another me. This was the Mayan greeting. It was not a social courtesy. It was a statement of physical facts. When you harm another, it is as if your right hand cut your left hand. The right hand may believe it has won the fight, but the whole body bleeds. The illusion of others is the root of all war, all theft, and all suffering on earth. Ancestral wisdom, you have crossed the threshold. You know you are the creator experiencing a distortion. You know the universe is made of light. You know you wear a veil, but now you go out into the street and you meet them. The noisy neighbor, the abusive boss, the ex-partner who broke your heart, the corrupt politician on the news, the murderer, the saint, the beggar, and the millionaire. They seem so real. They seem so different from you. They seem external, autonomous, and often threatening. I have to tell you the most difficult truth of the law of one to digest. They do not exist. Not as separate entities. Not as others. They are you. Literally. They are versions of yourself in different timelines, with different genetics and different conditioning, acting out specific roles that you have requested. The universe is a hall of mirrors. Wherever you look, you only see your own face. But the mirrors are magical. They distort the image. Some make you look tall, others short, others monstrous, others divine. But the light reflected in all of them is the same light that you emit. Today we are going to break the mirror. We are going to stop fighting with the reflection and start talking to the being that projects the image. Get ready to forgive the unforgivable, not because they are good, but because there was never anyone else to forgive than yourself. Hear the physics of projection, the movie projector. To understand this, let's use the movie analogy. You are sitting in the theater seat, your consciousness. You look at the screen, the 3D reality. On the screen appears a monster that scares you. Do you get up and attack the screen with a sword? No. That would be useless. You would only rip the fabric. The monster would still be projected there. To change the monster, you have to go to the projection booth and change the film. The film is inside you. The roll of film consists of your beliefs, your fears, your traumas, and your vibration. The projector's light is your consciousness. The screen is the other's screen. Others have no free will in your reality to do anything to you that you have not vibrated first. This sounds harsh. It sounds like blaming the victim. But in high metaphysics, there are no victims. There are creators. If a pattern of betrayal is recorded in your internal film roll, the universe must hire an actor. The universe hires an other to play the role of traitor. That actor could be your partner, your associate, or your friend. He, at the soul level, loves you so much that he accepted the villain role. He agreed to be the bad guy so you could see your projected film and hopefully heal it. Without the actor, the film would remain on the roll, invisible and unresolved. The other performs the service of externalizing your internal. 2. The law of resonance, the hook. Why do you dislike someone? Analyze it coldly. There are murderers in prison who provoke no emotion in you, only indifference, but your sister-in-law, who only makes passive-aggressive comments, makes your blood boil. Why? Because you have resonance. Carl Jung called this the shadow. What bothers you about others is invariably something you deny in yourself. The selfish one. If someone selfish deeply bothers you, it is because you have a repressed desire to be selfish, to take care of yourself. But your morality forbids it. You see in them the freedom you deny yourself, and that infuriates you. The weak one. If people who complain bother you, it is because you hate your own vulnerability. You have built a strong shell and cannot stand to see your own weakness reflected in the mirror of the other. The arrogant one. Only an ego can be offended by another ego. If you were truly humble, the other's arrogance would give you compassion or laughter, not rage. If you didn't have the hook inside, the trauma or belief, the other's behavior would pass through you as if you were transparent. There would be no friction. Friction is proof that two rough surfaces have touched. One surface is you, the other is them. The other is your most ruthless teacher. They point their finger exactly where you lack self-love. 30. The direct mirror and the inverse mirror. The Essenes spoke of the 7 mirrors of relationships. Let's simplify it into 2 main types. The direct mirror, what you are. You meet someone kind, loving, and generous. You feel good. That mirror tells you, this is also you. Recognize your light. You meet someone angry and shouting. That mirror tells you, this is also you. Recognize your repressed anger. The inverse mirror, what you judge. This one is more subtle. You are a super-organized, clean, and punctual person, and you attract a partner who is a mess, dirty, and unpunctual. Why? Doesn't the law of attraction say like attracts like? Yes, but you attract your dominant vibration. If your order is neurotic, based on fear of chaos and judgment of disorder, you are vibrating in fear of chaos. Therefore, you attract chaos. The universe sends you the opposite to balance you. It says, you have gone to the extreme of rigidity. Here is someone flexible, disorganized, to teach you to let go. Until you love the chaos, accept it, you will continue to attract it. Judgment is the strongest glue. What you judge sticks to you. Namaste, the God in me greets the God in you. In the East, they greet by joining hands and saying Namaste. It means the God that dwells in me greets the God that dwells in you. It is not John greets Peter. It is localized consciousness greets localized consciousness B. It is a recognition that behind the mask of the ego there is one same light. Practicing the law of one means looking at everyone with X-ray vision. You see a dirty and drunk beggar on the street. Your 3D mind, ego, says, failure, dangerous, stay away. Your spiritual vision, soul, says, there is the Creator, playing at being a lost soul experiencing extreme cold and forgetting. And what courage that soul has to choose such a hard role. You don't feel pity, which is superiority. You feel respect and compassion. You see a tyrannical politician. Your 3D mind says, monster, enemy. Your spiritual vision says, there is the Creator, playing at total separation, experiencing power without love. He is trapped in a nightmare of fear and paranoia. What great pain his soul must feel to need to control so much. This does not mean you should invite the tyrant to your house or let them rob you. You set physical boundaries, 3D, but you do not set spiritual judgment, 4D. You protect yourself from the behavior, but you love the essence. This is the mastery of Jesus. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He did not say what they do is right. He said they acted from blindness, the veil. He saw their essential innocence behind their temporary guilt. Radical forgiveness. There is nothing to forgive. The traditional concept of forgiveness is arrogant. It implies, you are bad, you hurt me, but I am good and holy, so I forgive you from my height. That maintains separation. It maintains the victim-executioner duality. The forgiveness of the law of one is different. It is based on the understanding that nothing real happened. It was a dream. It was an agreed-upon play. You asked to learn the lesson of strength. The other agreed to attack you so you could practice strength. The attack happened. Your ego hurt. You learned, or not. If you understand this, what is there to forgive? There is only gratitude. Thank you for playing your role so well that I believed it. Thank you for squeezing my wound so I knew I had to heal it. I release you from the role of villain. You may go. This type of forgiveness undoes karma instantly. The energetic cord is broken. Often when you forgive radically, the other person miraculously changes or disappears from your life forever. There is no longer a hook to hold them in your reality. Ho'oponopono, healing in me what I see in you. The ancient Hawaiians had a psychiatric technique based on unity. Dr. Hugh Len cured an entire ward of psychiatric criminals without seeing them in person. He only read their files and looked inside himself. He asked, what is in me that has created this person in my reality? What part of my mind is so dark that it projects as this murderer? And when he found that stain in himself, he said 4 phrases to the divine. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. He did not ask the criminal for forgiveness. He asked himself and God for forgiveness for having held the vibration. He cleaned the data on his hard drive, and as he healed himself, the patients healed. This is total responsibility. If someone shouts at you, do not try to silence them. Silence the shout inside you. Clean the memory of conflict in you. Say, I'm sorry. Memory of pain. I love you. Thank you for coming out to be released. When you become peace, the world around you must become peace because the mirror cannot reflect something that is not in front of it. Saith the solitude of God, there is only one. We reach the most vertiginous existential part. If others are me, am I alone? Is the universe a schizophrenic monologue? Yes and no. From the perspective of the Absolute, yes. You are alone. Only the One exists. But alone does not mean lonely. Human loneliness is the lack of company. Divine solitude, all oneness, is fullness. It is containing everything. You need nothing outside because everything is inside. But from the perspective of the game, know the Creator has fragmented into billions of sovereign souls. The relationship between you and me is real at this level. The love we feel is real. The discovery of the other is the joy of the Creator. It is like playing chess with yourself. You know it is you moving the white and the black, but you surprise yourself with a good move. The mystery is maintained so that love can flow. We honor individuality while remembering unity. We walk on the razor's edge. I love you as another, knowing you are me. Fate, the danger of solipsism, the spiritual ego. Beware of a dangerous mental trap, egoic solipsism. Thinking, since others do not exist, they are filler characters, NPCs in my video game, so I can treat them like trash because only I am real. That is darkness. That is the path of service to self, Luciferian. Recognizing that others are you does not give you the right to use them. It gives you the obligation to serve them. Because if you harm them, you harm yourself. If you insult the waiter, you insult yourself. If you steal from yourself. True understanding of the law of one leads inevitably to the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated, not out of religious morality, but out of intelligent selfishness. You want your left hand to treat your right hand well. Empathy is not feeling sorry for the other. It is feeling that there is no other. Telepathy and the network, the invisible connection. If we are all one, our minds are connected, like computers on a global Wi-Fi. This explains why when you think of someone, they call you. It explains why when you heal a trauma in yourself, your mother suddenly changes her attitude. You are moving files in the shared folder. You have no private thoughts. Your thoughts of judgment, look how fat that person is, leave you. Hit the other person's subconscious, who feels attacked without knowing why, and return to you as discomfort. Your thoughts of blessing, what light that person has, leave, elevate the other, and return multiplied. Living the law of one is being a guardian of the mental atmosphere. You make yourself responsible for the psychic pollution you emit. You decide to emit only frequencies that you want to see reflected in the world. You become a walking antenna of blessing. Chapter 6. Polarity, the engine of growth. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Revelation 3:15-16. For there to be energy, there must be tension. For there to be light, there must be a positive pole and a negative pole. If you connect two positive cables, nothing happens. If you eliminate darkness, light loses its definition. The universe is a giant battery. Your soul did not come here to rest in a static paradise. It came to polarize. It came to choose a side and charge itself with voltage. Conflict is the fuel of the evolutionary engine. Law of one. You look at your life and see conflict. You see love and you see hate. You see generosity and you see greed. You see moments of ecstasy and moments of deep despair. Your human mind, conditioned by comfort, says, I wish everything were always beautiful. I wish there were no problems. I wish the world were a garden of eternal peace. I have to tell you something. If the world were that, you would be dead, or worse, you would be in a spiritual coma. A world without conflict is a world without movement. A world without opposites is a world without definition. Welcome to the law of polarity. This is the rule that turns existence, being, into experience, doing, feeling. Intelligent infinity is unity, yes, but to know itself it had to divide into two. It had to create friction. Imagine a car battery. It has one terminal marked with a plus and another with a bar. If you remove the negative terminal because you don't like negativity, the battery dies. The car won't start. Electrical energy is the result of the tension between these two opposite poles seeking to reunite. Your spiritual evolution works exactly the same way. You need resistance. You need opposition. You need polarity to generate the soul force necessary to ascend in density. Today we will learn to love conflict, not for masochism but for engineering. We are going to understand why the worst sin is not evil, but lukewarmness. By the physics of stagnation, the danger of the gray zone. We live in an electric universe. Everything is vibration. For a consciousness to advance, it must accumulate charge. It must become intense. Most human beings on Earth today are neither good nor bad. They are lukewarm. They live in the gray zone of the sinkhole of indifference. They get up, go to a job they don't care about, eat food that doesn't nourish them, watch programs that don't interest them, talk about trivial things, and go back to sleep. They do not love with passion, but they do not hate with fury either. They don't sacrifice for anyone, but they don't do harm on purpose. They are good people, harmless but spiritually inert. According to the law of one, this is the most dangerous state for a soul. A lukewarm soul does not evolve. It is recycled. It repeats the third density, the human cycle, over and over, life after life, for thousands of years, until something shakes it and forces it to choose. The purpose of polarity is to pull you out of apathy. The universe prefers a decided villain, highly polarized toward the negative, over an apathetic victim. Why? Because the villain at least has will. He has focus. He has discipline. He is using the Creator's energy with intensity. He is going in the wrong direction, toward separation, but he is moving. Eventually he will hit the wall of loneliness and have to turn around, but he will bring with him all that acquired willpower. The lukewarm does not move. It is stagnant water. Polarity is the call to action. Choose, move, be something. Zeus, the catalyst, the grain of sand. How does the universe force us to leave lukewarmness? It sends us catalysts. A catalyst is an event designed to provoke a reaction. It is the grain of sand inside the oyster. The oyster lives quietly and happily. Suddenly, a sharp grain of sand enters, a problem. It hurts, it bothers. The oyster has two options: ignore it and suffer, and die of infection. 2. Wrap it in mother of pearl to isolate it, creating a pearl. Your problems are divine grains of sand, a disease, a divorce, a bankruptcy, a betrayal. These events are not punishments, they are polarity offers. The universe is asking you, who are you in the face of this? Are you a victim who complains and shrinks? Depolarization, lukewarmness. Are you a tyrant who seeks revenge and blames others? Negative polarization. Are you an alchemist who accepts, forgives, and uses the pain to open their heart further? Positive polarization. Without the catalyst, you would never have had the chance to define yourself. You would have kept sleeping. Pain is the chisel that breaks the shell of your ego so the light of the soul can come out. The harder the catalyst, the greater the opportunity for growth. Advanced souls do not choose easy lives on the beach. They choose difficult lives in the trenches because they want to grow fast. There's the mechanics of the two poles, attraction and repulsion. To understand polarity, we must stop using childish moral terms like good and bad. Let's use physical terms, radiation and absorption. There are two fundamental directions in which the energy of consciousness can flow. 1. The positive pole, radiation, service to others. It is the centrifugal force. The energy goes outward. It is the sun. It shines, it gives, it warms, it seeks unity, it seeks to connect. It sees the Creator in every face. Its motto is, all is one. I love you because you are me. The key emotion is acceptance. 2. The negative pole, absorption, service to self. It is the centripetal force. The energy goes inward. It is the black hole. It absorbs, it takes, it cools, it seeks separation, it seeks to control. It sees the Creator only in itself and sees others as tools. Its motto is, I am the center. I use you because you are inferior. The key emotion is control. Both poles are valid ways to use the energy of the all. The universe allows both paths, thanks to free will. But they have very different destinations. The positive path leads to expansion and social joy. The negative path leads to contraction and absolute loneliness, though with great temporary power. You are here on Earth to decide which mechanism you will install in your engine. Here the function of darkness, the loyal opposition. Here we enter deep metaphysical terrain. If the final goal is unity and love, why does the negative pole exist? Why do beings, human and non-human, consciously choose darkness? Because they are the loyal opposition. They are the sparring partners in God's gym. Imagine you want to learn to play chess. Would you learn anything playing against someone who lets you win every time? No. You need an opponent who tries to destroy you, who uses all their intelligence to defeat you. That opponent forces you to be smarter, faster, and stronger. The forces of darkness fulfill a structural function. They provide the resistance necessary for light to know itself. They serve the Creator by acting as the villain of the movie. Without Judas, there is no crucifixion. Without crucifixion, there is no resurrection. From the human perspective, Judas is a traitor. From the soul perspective, he is the actor who accepted the role. This does not mean you should applaud evil. It means you must understand its utility. Evil pushes you. It tests you. It forces you to choose. If evil attacks you, and you respond with fear, it has polarized you negatively. If evil attacks and you respond with unbreakable light and firm limits, it has polarized you positively. The myth of static balance, the dead center. Many people in New Age spirituality seek balance, but they misunderstand balance. They believe balance is a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. I am 50% light and 50% shadow. I am neutral. That is not balance. That is cancellation. If you mix boiling water with ice water, you get lukewarm water. And we already know what the universe does with the lukewarm. The true balance of the Master is not static neutrality. It is balanced intensity. It is holding a massive positive charge without wavering. To graduate from the third density, you do not need to be 50-50. According to the raw material, you need to be polarized. At least 51% in service to others, positive, or at least 95% in service to self, negative. Notice the difference. The negative path is much harder. It requires 95% purity and selfishness, which is almost impossible for a normal human. The positive path is more accessible, 51%. You just need your desire to help to be slightly more. But that 51% must be real. It must be chosen. You cannot be good by inertia or fear of punishment. You have to be good by conscious choice in the face of the temptation to be selfish. Thought consciousness polarizes. The daily exercise. How do you increase your polarity? How do you raise the voltage of your soul? Through the conscious use of daily catalysts. Every moment is a bifurcation. Scenario A, traffic. Someone cuts you off sharply. Automatic reaction. You insult, you get stressed, you wish them harm. Lukewarmness, negative polarization. Positive polarization work. You feel the initial anger, but you stop it. You breathe. You use understanding. That driver must have an emergency or is full of fear and haste. Poor soul. I send them calm so they don't kill themselves. Boom. You used a negative event to generate light. You have gone up a step. Scenario B, pain. You have a strong headache. Automatic reaction. Bad luck, I hate this, why me? Contraction. Victimhood. Polarization. Work. You accept the pain. This body is asking me for rest. Thank you for warning me. I am going to love myself by resting today. You have transformed suffering into self-love. Polarization is a muscle. The more times you choose love over fear, understanding over judgment, the stronger your magnetic field becomes. A time comes when you become a light generator. You enter a dark room and people feel good just by your presence. Your vibration alone elevates the environment. That is being polarized. 7. The trap of moral judgment beyond good and evil. Polarity is not the same as human morality. Morality changes according to era and culture. Polarity is structural physics. The universe does not judge the negative path as sin. It judges it as a path of high resistance. The one who chooses darkness is not punished by an angry God. He is punished by the very mechanics of his choice. The path of separation leads inevitably to loneliness, paranoia, and the constant need to absorb energy from others, because you have cut yourself off from the source. It is a path of eternal hunger. It is hell, but it is a self-imposed hell. The doors are locked from the inside. The path of light leads to connection, peace, and infinite energy, because you are connected to the source. The choice is not moral, I must be good. The choice is intelligent. I prefer to be happy and free. When you choose love, you don't do it to earn points for heaven. You do it because it is the most efficient state. Fate, tough love, polarity is not being foolish. Many people confuse service to others, positive polarity, with being a doormat. They believe being spiritual is saying yes to everything, letting people abuse you and smiling. That is a grave error. Letting yourself be trampled is not love. It is lack of self-love. And you are also an other whom you must serve. If you allow a parasite to suck your energy, you are doing a disservice to them, allowing them to be a parasite, and to yourself, you weaken. Positive polarity includes wisdom. Sometimes the most loving act is to say no. Sometimes the most loving act is to set firm limits. Sometimes the most loving act is to let someone fall so they learn to get up. Love light is dynamic. It can be soft like a mother or hard like a warrior defending the truth. Jesus overturned the tables of the money changers in the temple. That was an act of high positive polarity. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. I'm the ascending spiral, the density jump. What is all this effort to polarize for? For the quantum leap. The universe is organized in octaves or densities, like musical notes. First density, elements, water, fire, earth, air. Second density, plants and animals. Third density, humans, self-consciousness, the choice. Fourth density, love and understanding. We are at the end of the third density. Earth is graduating toward the fourth. To be able to incarnate on the new Earth, 4D, your vibration must be compatible with it. The fourth density is a density of high positive polarity, love. If you are lukewarm or negative, the fourth density light would burn you. It would be unbearable for your energy system. Therefore, those souls who do not achieve polarization, 51% positive, in this life will not go to hell, but will repeat the course. They will incarnate on another third density planet to keep learning the lessons of love and power. This is the harvest frequency selection. Chapter 7. The Two Paths. Service to self versus service to others. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life. Deuteronomy 30:19. In the architecture of the cosmos, energy is neutral, but its direction is not. Consciousness can move in two directions, outward, in an explosion of generosity that connects all things, radiation, or inward, in an implosion of control that absorbs all things, gravitation. The first path is that of the sun. The second is that of the black hole. Both are powerful. Both lead to the Creator. But the experience of the journey is diametrically opposite. One travels in company, the other in absolute solitude. The raw material. You have reached the crossroads. Everything we have talked about until now, the infinite, the veil, polarity, was the preamble for this moment. You are here, in the third density, Earth, for only one purpose: to make a choice. You have not come to be happy. You have not come to learn. You have come to choose your polarity. You have come to decide what type of engine you are going to install in your soul for the rest of the galactic journey. In this universe of free will, there are infinite shades of gray, but there are only two pure directions of evolution. 1. Service to others, STO. The way of unity and love.